On the Paper Talk today, we'll be talking about that boy Ronaldo reaching 700 goals. Most of the stories focusing on the fallout after yesterday's epic win over Everton at Goodison. Also, there's a little bit of an update on what could be happening contract-wise with David De Gea. Let's check it out. Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford where it's pretty sunny, but it's cold, so make sure you've got your parkers with you. We'll get straight into it. Most of the stories this morning, as you would expect, focusing on Manchester United's epic 2-1 victory over Everton even, at Goodison. There you go. Despite VAR's best efforts to try and, to actually chalk off for me, a perfectly good goal by Marcus Rashford, we still got there in the end, winning 2-1 thanks to goals from Cristiano Ronaldo and Anthony. Ronaldo, of course, hitting his 700th club goal, a fantastic record and a much needed goal as well, a very important one because it helped give Manchester United the 3 points, and I think that's 5 wins out of 6 now for Erik ten Hag's side in the Premier League. So on a good bit of form really, and putting that Derby Day defeat behind us and hopefully moving on. We'll get into some of the sort of post-match reaction. Marcus Rashford, on that goal that was disallowed, he tweeted, 3 points on the road, Man United, fire. VAR was questionable, but thankfully it didn't impact the result. Yeah, it was questionable. Now, there seems to have been a lot of arguing, a lot of discussion post-match about that decision to disallow Marcus Rashford's goal for a handball, because earlier in the day we saw a goal by Michail Antonio where it hit his arm and it was allowed. Now, Laurie Whitwell, after the game yesterday, tweeted, not sure how that can be overruled by VAR for handball. If it glances his arm, it's accidental, no? Rashford had deserved a goal, purposeful performance, plus chasing down that ball was another example. However, Laurie's then replied to his own tweet saying, so the accidental handball rule was changed, but only if another player scores the goal. Had Rashford squared to Fernandes for the tap-in, it would have stood. Seems a bit silly, I agree with Laurie there. And then he goes on to add, Antonio's goal for West Ham today flies in the face of this, of course, yeah. So even if, the rules are that because it did hit his hand, even though it was accidental, because he finished the move, he scored the goal, it can't count, then that doesn't explain why Michail Antonio's goal stood and Marcus Rashford's didn't. Antonio's handball was far more blatant than Marcus Rashford's, and apparently the rules are that had Rashford squared it to Fernandes, or had someone else scored after he touched it, if it wasn't him that actually scored, the goal could have stood. It's if you're the goal scorer, it doesn't. I mean, it's a nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, and okay, it doesn't matter, but it was incredibly frustrating, and I was losing it on the watch-along yesterday because I was certain that Jordan Pickford or someone right at the death was going to pop up with an undeserved equaliser. But anyway, we move. David De Gea has been talking after the game as well. There's talk of him, he's due a contract extension. United could offer him a 1-year deal. That's like, you trigger the 1-year extension to his deal. I think there's himself and a few other players who I'll get to in a minute who could be up for an extension. Now, he was asked about this yesterday. He spoke about the win and how it was great to get the being goal today with the team fighting for 3 points. He spoke about Ronaldo, how he's never been on the situation before, starting from the bench, but the way he works and trains is unbelievable. He then went on to say, I'm just very focused on the games, helping the team as much as I can. And then when asked about the new contract, he said, of course, I would like to be here for more years. Years, plural. So let's see what happens in the future. I'm really, really happy here. So that looks like a bit of a hint there that he'd be happy to stay. We'll have to wait and see whether United do offer him a contract extension. The sort of common thinking in most of the reports I've seen is that the club will, but it's not set in stone. Obviously, if he can leave at the end of the season for nothing, that is something the club wants to avoid. But he is on mega money, and an extension would be an extension of that mega money. I think he's the highest paid goalkeeper in history, I think. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But David De Gea could be signing a new deal. And, if the hints that he made yesterday are anything to go by, it looks like he would be happy to. Now, another player that's due a contract extension is Diogo Dalot, and it seems Barcelona are sniffing round him. There's a report in the Daily Mail this morning, and it says Barcelona are eyeing a potential move for Manchester United right-back Diogo Dalot after sending scouts to watch the defender, who enters the final 12 months of his contract at Old Trafford. And yeah, it just goes that they're looking at him. he's on his last 12 months. The 23-year-old has started every single Premier League match this campaign. I think he's having a very good campaign, very good season so far, Diogo Dalot. Probably not his best game yesterday, if being brutally honest, but he's having a very good season. And I've been impressed because I didn't know if he was going to make it at Old Trafford. I really didn't, for one reason or another. But this season, he's certainly become Erik ten Hag's favoured choice on that right back. Built on the positives pre-season he had, and you know, it's his place to lose now, and it's no surprising that clubs are in for him. And Barcelona, they don't get much bigger than that. It goes on to say the Red Devils have the option to extend the Portuguese defender's contract by 1 more year, but talks are not said to be at an advanced stage. So they're not on an advanced stage, but there is that option there to trigger that deal. I'd expect United to do that because he's become an integral part of this defence under Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag obviously likes him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. United were linked, certainly, with Serginho Dest in the summer, but nothing really came of that. There was a talk as well of, was it Denzel Dumfries as well? There was a little bit of a rumour there, but again, nothing concrete. It does seem like Diogo Dalot is the main man, and I'd be very surprised if United were to let him go. I think that contract extension should be triggered, and hopefully he stays as well because he's doing a very good job at Manchester United. On Anthony Martial, he went off after 28 minutes with an injury. It says here, Erik ten Hag spoke about after the game. He said we'll have to wait and see. I have to see. I cannot tell what it is, how serious it is. Let's wait the first 24 hours, how serious it is, and then I can give an answer. Everyone has to take responsibility, and Martial also took his responsibility by giving the assist on the first goal. It's incredibly frustrating to see Martial injured all the time. You know, when he started yesterday, everyone was buzzing. It's like, finally, he's going to start in the Premier League. And then just before kick-off, there's all these rumours floating around that he had a hip injury. He obviously did, because he didn't look right. I know he got the assist for Anthony's goal, but you could see he wasn't moving the way he should be. Looked a little bit lethargic, looked like something was up, and he came off after 28 minutes. Now, that's his first start in Premier League this season. He had a 45-minute appearance against Liverpool, I think. He played about half an hour, was it, against Manchester City. He's just not been featuring. Now, I love Anthony Martial, and he's having a great season, but we need him playing. Well, he's having a great season. When he's played, he's having a great season, I should say, sorry. But we need him playing, and he's just not been playing, and this is a massive worry for Manchester United. Now, we were linked with... was it Gakpo, the kid as well? He's been banging him in, hasn't he, this season? I don't know if there's anything going to come of that. We'll keep you updated if there is anything on that. There was talk, wasn't there, of Ivan Toney, but that seems to be more fan-led than anything we're hearing from the club or anything from journalists. We'll have to wait and see, though. But Manchester United may have to look at it again in the transfer window this January if we are just relying on 37-year-old Ronaldo and a constantly injured Anthony Martial. Hopefully, he can turn it around. On that Cody Gakpo story as well, there's a story in the Evening News this morning. I think it's based on a piece in The Athletic saying that Gakpo was not in favour of Leeds' move after recent form. Yeah, there was rumours of him going to Leeds because he was linked with us, he was linked with Leeds, and it looked like Leeds were going to try and make that happen in January. But according to the Evening News, based on a story in The Athletic, excuse me, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. As you'd expect, Erik ten Hag was praising Cristiano Ronaldo on getting 700 goals. He said, that is really impressive when you score 700 goals. It's a huge performance for him. Huge performance. I'm really happy for him. I congratulate him on that performance, and I'm also happy it's the first goal this season in the Premier League. He had to wait for it, and I'm sure there will be more goals. I'm sure there will be too. Also, just on another little bit of news there, Victor Lindelof has reached 200 appearances now for Manchester United, and Scott McTominay, who picks up a booking after about 38 seconds, he's out of the Newcastle clash. We will be looking ahead, of course, towards the games this week. We've got a Europa League clash, and we've got a Premier League clash against Newcastle as well, so we'll be looking towards them on the channel. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We're back later on with the Paddock podcast. This has been Motty outside, pretty brisk Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.